Okay guys, I'm finally doing it. I'm doing it. You guys have been asking for it for months now, but we got a rainy, gloomy day. So what a better time than to walk you through our machinery shed and do an equipment tour for 6th Gen Farmer. So really quickly here, before I get into it, let's have a little bit of a recap in case you're a new viewer to the channel. So the previous years, my whole family was farming together, and this year my dad, brother, and I decided to split off from the rest of the family. We're all still very friendly. We still share quite a bit of stuff. In fact, only about half the stuff in this machinery shed is ours because we still share this machinery shed. But the reason we split up, and I have a whole video on it, but basically the family was just getting really big. The next generation's kind of coming into the picture, and just for the benefit of both sides of the family, the benefit for the next generation, it just made the most sense to kind of split our ways and farm by ourselves. So my dad, brother, and I split off separately, and a lot of you guys have been asking, you know, what equipment did you keep? What equipment did you give up? What have you bought new? And unless you pay attention to every single video, which I don't expect everyone to do, it's really hard to keep track of what we have and what we don't. So I'm gonna make this video. I'm gonna go through here, show you guys everything that we got and what we use it for. And also quickly, for those of you who may be new here, we are a family farm located in southern Minnesota. So we're south a ways of like Zach Johnson and Larson farms. So being it is planting season, I'm gonna start here with our planter. In the past, before the split, we were running two planters. We had a DB60 high-speed precision planter and a John Deere 1790 soybean planter. And we sold out of, actually we didn't own any of the soybean planter, that was all the other side of the family. But we sold out of our share of the DB60, and we went to a John Deere 1770 NT Exact Emerge planter. So I believe the bar is like a 2013, 2014-ish. It was kind of at the end of the 1770 era. And then in 2018, the previous owner replaced all the units with Exact Emerge units. So this is a 24-row high-speed planter. And it is our first time with a John Deere high-speed planter. In the past, we always had that precision one. And we planted 320 acres with it so far. And then it started raining. But overall, we've been super impressed with it so far. And I have made a lot of videos on this planter here in the past few months. So if you want to go back and look at all the work that we've done to this, it's all on YouTube here. But when we bought this planter, it was kind of wore out. All the parallel arms were absolutely shot. All the bearings and the row openers were shot. All the belts were shot. All the lower pulleys in the speed belts were shot. It was just a lot of work done into this planter, a couple months worth. And being able to go to the field and having very, very few issues was really nice. I actually did a live stream on the first time we planted. And really the only issue we had was we had a broken seed tube on row number 10. And we had, our markers didn't work for some reason. But the next day they started working fine. So I don't know what happened there. And one other thing that we did to this planter, kind of as a modification or an upgrade, is we installed the Michelin PTG CTIS, or Central Tire Inflation System. So as you can see here, we got a rotary union, and then we got air lines that run to the tire. So from the cab, I can inflate and deflate these tires on the go. They're a special VF tire, so they're meant to handle 40% less air than like a radial tire could. So the tires that came on this planter stock are absolutely junk. John Deere put those stupid pizza cutter tires on these planters, and they just compacted the crap out of the ground. And here in southern Minnesota, where we have really heavy soils and we're wet quite a bit, compaction's a big deal. So being able to deflate these tires down to like 22 to 24 PSI in the field allows me to get similar results to tracks for a lot less money and a lot less maintenance. Super cool system, trying it out this year, doing some trials. So if you want to kind of follow along and see how that works and see if there's any yield benefit end of the year, make sure you guys get subscribed, because I'm going to for sure bring you guys along for all of that. And we are a fully corn and soybean farm, and about 500 acres of our corn and soybeans are actually organic. So I'll get into some of the organic equipment here later. And then pulling the planter, we have a 2010 John Deere 8345 RT. This is actually a fairly recent addition to the farm. I think this is our second full season on it. And so this one is used for pulling the planter, and then we're not quite for sure what it'll be used for this fall or the rest of the year. It might get put in the grain cart, or it might be put on some sort of tillage equipment this fall. We really don't have any plans for it this summer. We have some different tractors doing some stuff during the summer. But we really like these 2010 model 8R tractors, because the first 8R series tractor, so 2009, 2010, did not have any emissions on it other than EGR, so no particulate filter, no DEF. It's basically a 30 series tractor, so like an 8330 or 8430. It has the same hood, the same headlights, so it has the reliability of a 30 series tractor, but it has an R series cab on it. So a lot more spacious cab, a lot more comfortable, not a lot more, but it has some more technology in it that I really like. And a lot of our tractors also have these little rock boxes on the side that my dad built. We really like those, especially for planting, because I can put like a few extra closing wheels on here, a few extra row cleaners, a grease gun, row closing bracket, a case of grease, and I can store all this stuff on the planter tractor. So if I have a bearing go out on a row cleaner at 2 o'clock in the morning, I can come out here, I can grab it, and I can replace it in a couple minutes and keep going. And I'm not going to walk inside the cab of every piece of equipment we have, but the planter tractor is kind of a unique one because there's a lot of stuff in it. So I'm running dual John Deere 4640 monitors. We are running the planter and the CTIS system off these John Deere monitors. I have an iPad in here. I run John Deere Connect Mobile, so not only can I see one map on here, see how the planter's doing on here, but I can also view 2 more maps on here. So usually I have population, ride quality, and singulation. So I can view all that stuff at the same time. This is just a cell phone holder. This is our pneumatic row cleaner control box, so raise and lower those pneumatic row cleaners. This is just an inverter, so I can charge my iPad and then charge a GoPro or a laptop or a drone or something. And then lastly, this is just the fold box, so I can fold and unfold the planter. So a lot of you guys have been wondering what big tractor did we keep, because in the past we had a 9570 RT, a 9530T, and then we had a Challenger MT865B. And we kept one of the 3 tractors, and that is the John Deere 9570 RT. Personally, I really wanted the Challenger tractor. It's a bit older, but it has a Cat 18-liter engine, which is absolutely indestructible, and they're just built really heavy. But it didn't work out in the cards, so we got the 9570 RT, which I am not complaining. 9570 RT is a beautiful tractor. This is a 2018 model, and we use this primarily for tillage, and we will be using it it's never been put in the tile plow before, but now that it's our only big tractor, it will be put on the tile plow this year. So in the spring, we run these Demco SideQuest tanks. They're 500 gallons a piece. And that's because on our field cultivator that we run in front of the planter, we have a sprayer boom on the front and the rear of the field cultivator. So the chemicals that we use as a pre-emerging corn likes to be placed on top of the ground. So we run it back here, and then we just got a couple quick disconnect valves. So when we switch over to soybeans, that chemical likes to be incorporated into the ground. So we run that in front so that way it gets dug in. And our field cultivator is a 55-foot Case IH 255. My family has been mostly red for tillage equipment. They were big DMI fans before Case IH bought them out, and Case IH for the most part has kept and improved on the DMI design. So we will probably continue to be red in tillage for a while. But after spring, if we decide to do some tiling, the 9570 RT will be put on the tile plow. And then in the fall, it'll be put on the ripper for corn. And then if I just head outside here into the rain for a little bit, we have the newest tractor to our farm, the John Deere 8335 RT. This is a 2011 model, so it's not a 2009, 2010, and it does have the particulate filter on the exhaust. But, you know, we had an 8335 before the split, and that was a very nice tractor. So this one actually came out of Canada. We have a couple videos on that. This one when it came was extremely sun faded. In fact, the rims, you can still tell, are not very yellow anymore. They're super faded. And the hood was almost like a white. And I had my friend, I know there's some rain getting on the lens, I'm sorry guys. But I had my friend Levi Avelin come out, and he polished, buffed, and ceramic coated this tractor, and now it looks showroom quality. I mean, you can just see the water beating up on it. It just comes right off. You can see the reflection super nice in it. I mean, it looks nicer than the ones that you see sitting on dealer lots that are brand new. Very nice tractor, super low hour, like a 1,200 hour tractor. So yeah, this is an exciting addition to our family farm here. So this tractor's main purpose is to pull the brand new, to us, it's a 1-year-old, fast 9524T sprayer. Now this is part of the reason this video took so long to make, was because I wanted to get the sprayer in before I made this video, and it just came in here earlier this week. But we went from a self-propelled John Deere sprayer, so we used to have an R4038, and we went over to the pull-behind world. And a couple good reasons why. First off, compaction is a really big deal to us. It is super easy to tell when stuff is compacted in a field. Like, even we planted this field already, and you could tell exactly where the compacted areas were, because the ride quality in the planter just went to absolute crap. So the old self-propelled sprayer would leave like 6-inch ruts through the field every time you went across it, and just, it really hurt me to see the damage being done. And we want to be the best stewards to the land that we possibly can. So the pull behind allowed us to have tracks on the tractor and tracks on the sprayer, so we won't be creating those 6 to 8-inch ruts anymore. And secondly, along with having a lot less compaction, I believe this is like a third of the compaction that a big self-propelled has, our capacity doubled. We went from like 1,000 or 1,200 gallon tank. I honestly don't remember how many gallons that sprayer is, but we went to a 2,400 gallon tank. So that'll allow us to spray anywhere from like 120 to 240 acres on one tank. So now that we have less people, not having to refill as much is going to allow our efficiency to remain really high. So a few cool features about this sprayer is, you know, the tracks, obviously, the giant tank, but this one also has a steerable hitch, so that way when you turn, the tracks of the sprayer stay in the tracks of the tractor. In fact, you can see it right here is the tracks of the tractor, and the sprayer track stays right in there, so that way you're not running over 2 tracks of crop. You're staying in one track, running over less crop. And then we also have a capstan PWM system on this sprayer. So pulsing nozzles, really cool technology. Basically, I can set a pressure. So let's say I want to spray at 40 PSI, and I can have a wide range of speeds for 40 PSI. I think we were looking, it was like with 0.08 nozzles, we were able to go from like 4 to 16 miles per hour and keep the same pressure, which is super cool, because being able to set your pressure allows you to control your droplet size and not only have better control of your weeds and have more effective weed control, but you can also drop that pressure down, like going around the edge, to reduce drift. So the 8335 RT, actually we're getting, this has 24-inch belts on it at the moment. We have brand new 18s sitting in there with brand new rims. So the tractor looks really good. And here in the next day or two, we're gonna replace these rims in the track. And so we'll have some brand new, nice yellow looking, some wheels for the tracks. So this is gonna be running the sprayer here in the spring and summer. And then in the fall, we really don't know what we're gonna do in the fall yet. We don't know if the 8345 RT is gonna be put in the grain cart. We don't know if this is gonna be put in the grain cart. We actually have one more tractor maybe put in the grain cart too. And then whatever is not on the grain cart, we'll be doing tillage. So the next thing I'm going to talk about here is something you guys have actually not seen yet on the channel. It's been sitting in our shed here for a few months, and I think I've teased it a little bit, but you guys have no idea what it is. So it's our new combine. And so our old combines are actually in here. So last year we were running 2 combines. We were running a 9870 STS combine, and then our main combine was a John Deere S780. So yeah, these are old combines. Our new combine is a John Deere S770. So it's a brand new combine, like 0 hours on it, but it's a 1-year holdover. So it's a 2022 model. But The reason we went down in size, well, first of all, we went from 2 combines to 1. We just have less acres, and we don't have enough people to run 2 combines. It's not really needed. But we went down to size 2, and that's because the S780, just kind of a crappy combine, you know? Like, don't get me wrong, it's a good combine, but they changed a couple things between the 770 and the 780. They increased the cleaning shoe length, I believe, and then they added a rethresher. You wouldn't think that'd cause much issue, but the S780 produced the worst grain quality samples ever. And it didn't matter what we did. We tried aftermarket concaves, we tried every setting in the book, and we just could not get a good grain sample on it. And some of our neighbors have, like one of our neighbors has a 670 and a 780, and they say that the 670 produces a cleaner grain sample every single time than the 780. And also, I don't know what it is about the 780, but in soybeans, you just cannot get any capacity. You cannot get any reasonable amount of acres per hour done with a 780. In fact, the 9870 with a 35-foot flex head was doing just as many acres per hour as our 780 with a 40-foot draper was this past year. So our soybean combining efficiency should go up, or acres per hour should go up with a 770. In corn, we're probably gonna be a little short in power, but overall, we're just kind of happy to get away from the 780 and go down in size and get a cleaner grain sample and struggle a little less in soybeans. But the 770 is optioned pretty similarly to the 780s that we've had in the past. We got the big LSWs on the front. We've really liked these. We used to have a 680 that had big duals on it, and they were worthless in mud. And the LSWs they're really nice. They go through mud like crazy. They don't compact very much. Just overall good combine tire. This one does not have rear wheel assist, but we haven't really had to use rear wheel assist too much in the past anyways. Now that I say that, this will probably be the year we need it. And of course, we got the Dix Welding big hopper. It's like a 600 to 650 bushel grain hopper extension. I don't remember exactly how much it is, and I don't even think they advertise it, to be honest. But it's the biggest one that you can get for an S-Series combine. And here are the new tracks and rims that I was talking about for the 8335 RT outside. Okay, we're gonna do another tractor here quick. So this is actually the old sprayer. This is our R4038 that we used to have that we sold out of. The other side of the family, they're still using this thing. Like, don't be wrong, it was a great spraying machine, but for what we're doing, the fast sprayer just makes a lot more sense. But in front of this sprayer is the John Deere 8410T. This is kind of my dad's baby. We bought it 4 or 5 years ago, right before the market took off. He got this tractor pretty cheap for what it is, and it's kind of been the organic tractor. So this year we'll have 500 acres of organic corn and soybeans, and this tractor's main purpose is to pull the 60-foot row crop cultivator. I'll show that here in a bit. The problem is that the cultivator has gotten too heavy for this tractor, so we got to figure out how to get some lift assist wheels on it. But yeah, this tractor works very good for that. We can run the newer John Deere monitors in it still with auto steer, and we can run auto path, which is a system that we are being running on our planter for the first time this year. So yeah, it's kind of nice to be able to go and cultivate 60 feet at a time with auto steer and radio and air conditioning, and just, it's a very nice little tractor. We really like this 8410T. Actually, before we bought the 8335 RT, the 8410T was supposed to go on the fast sprayer, but then we bought that tractor out of Canada, and now this is going to be basically 100% organic use. And then packed up here in front of the 8410T, we have one of our 2 John Deere 6000 high cycle sprayers. It's so packed in here, I'm having a hard time getting a good angle of it. I'll probably get the other one out and go over that, but we use these sprayers to spray fungicide in tall corn. Now, when I made the sprayer video on the fast sprayer, a lot of people were concerned that we didn't have these anymore. Don't worry, the 6000 high cycles are going nowhere. We have made a ton of videos with these. Absolutely love them. They're so fun to drive. And they're scary too. And there's basically no weight on the front end. And if you pop the clutch, especially in third gear, you will flip over backwards. I have a picture of when my brother did it. But over the past couple years, I have done a lot of modifications to these sprayers, especially mine. This one is my brother's. But I've added a John Deere Green Star GPS to them. And so we run monitors and rate controllers in here. We run a Raven 440 rate controller that is tied into the COM port on a John Deere monitor, so we can map our rate, and then we can have guidance lines on there. And then also this year, something that's new is I put John Deere MTGs in both of these sprayers, so that way we can share data with each other, so we can share each other's coverage maps. So when we're spraying in the same field, I can see what he sprayed and he can see what I've sprayed in real time. So that'll be really nice this year. But all the monitors are taken out of it right now, but pretty simple controls. The rate controller goes right here and you can toggle it on and off. The John Deere monitor goes down here. These things have a 4-speed manual transmission on the floor. No hydrostats in these, 4-speed manual transmission. And throttle control, boom control, you got your gauges here, clutch, and this is what turns the pump on and off. So our last main tractor is the John Deere 8320R. This is our only main tractor that has wheels on it. And it used to be our main tractor. This is the last tractor that we bought brand new. So we bought this one brand new in 2010. So this is a 2010 model as well. Got the old style hood, old style headlights, and the exhaust with no particulate filter on it. This is probably one of the nearest and dearest tractors to everyone in my family. It's just been a solid tractor ever since we bought it. Very, very, very few issues with it. And it's always been reliable. And it's kind of a backup tractor now. It doesn't really get used a whole lot in the spring. It doesn't get used at all in the spring. It's a backup tractor in case we have one that goes down. And during the fall, it used to get put on a grain cart, but now that we have the 8335 RT, I don't know if it will get put in a grain cart either. It might, we'll see. Its main purpose is we have a fast side dresser and a Hydra side dresser that this gets put on. So that will get put on here once the corn starts to grow a little bit. But here's our philosophy with our tractors, right? Rather than buying brand new tractors, we figured that for the same price, we can just buy another older tractor. So that's why all of our tractors, except for our 9570, are 2010 or 2011 models, is because rather than spending the 250 grand to upgrade, we can just spend that money and buy a super nice different tractor. So this philosophy allows us to have an extra spare tractor at all times, the same price that everyone else is buying all their new ones for. So this way, if we ever have any issues, if we ever have a tractor go down for a long period of time, we have one in the shed, it's ready to go, and it just eliminates downtime, which is crucial in farming. Last time you guys saw this, it actually had the duals taken off it. We do have a snow blower that we attach to this and move snow if during the winter. That's its other purpose, is a snow blowing tractor. But yeah, overall, fantastic tractor. It's kind of sad not to see it get used more, but when you're as limited in time as we are, it's super nice to be able to have a backup. So on the other side of the shed here, we have our semis and semi-trailers. This is our tender trailer. We did keep this. So the other side of the family, they built a new one, but this tender trailer is extremely nice. We got 2 mixing cones, actually 3 mixing cones, my bad, I can't count. We got a lot of places to put chemical cages back there and tie them down. We're able to haul 6,400 gallons of water at once. We got the electric hose reel. This was, when we were driving this R4038 around the county, this trailer was extremely nice, and we're a lot more condensed now with the 2,400 gallon tank on the sprayer. We're not gonna need it as much, but what's nice about this is when we do a little bit of traveling, when we go up north to our furthest north fields, we can just kind of park this at one of our neighbors' houses and we can just have like a mobile fill-up station. So that'll be super nice. In terms of semis, we don't really, that's kind of the one thing that we haven't quite determined yet. We're for sure going to get this semi. This is either a 97 or 98 Mac. There's a turquoise colored Mac that was back behind the 8320R that we just talked about. Back in there is a turquoise one. We're going to keep that truck, and there might be one other truck we get. We're not 100% sure, but my guess is before fall we're either going to have to rent or buy another semi truck. We do have a few grain trailers. I don't know which grain trailers we got, but I know we at least have 3 or 4 of them. If you can tell, semis are just, like, I like semis, but they're not my cup of tea. I like the equipment a lot more. This is our telehandler. We are sharing this with the other side of the family still. It just kind of stays here and gets used for random projects that are needed. And behind it is the 60-foot row crop cultivator, which I've talked about a few times already. This is our weed control for our organic corn and soybeans. And when it's folded up, it doesn't look quite as massive as it does when it's unfolded, but when this thing's unfolded, it just looks impressive. It's an absolute brute. It's a John Deere, is it 856 or 865? I think it's 856. It's a John Deere 856 cultivator, triple shank, so each unit has 3 shanks. And then last year we added these finger weeders behind the shanks, which, if I can set up the camera here, I can kind of illustrate with my fingers how they work. Basically, these finger weeders kind of do this in between the row, and they're rubber, so they flex, and they flex around the corn crop and the soybean crop, and it helps cover up those little tiny weeds within the row, as well as, you know, digging up the ones that are between the rows. So when we added these finger weeders, we put a lot of weight really far back, and this thing weighs like 16,000 some pounds, which is above the lift capacity of the 8410T. So hopefully here this spring we get a welding friend out, and he's gonna figure out how to mount some lift assist wheels to this, so that way we can still lift it with the 8410T. Last year we did not have lift assist wheels on it, and we used the 8345 RT for cultivating all summer. But we'd like to get the 8410T back on it, just because that tractor sits outside all summer long and it gets used quite a bit. So the 8410, you know, the 8345 is such a beautiful tractor. We don't want to get all sun faded and you know, beat up by the sun. So we want to get the 8410T back on it in the worst way. So if we can get lift assist wheels on this, we're going to use the 8410T. If not, we'll probably see the 8345 RT back on that cultivator. Whew, it's cold out today. My hands are getting cold walking around in here. So in the very, very back of the shed here, this is our fast side dressing bar. So this is what we use when we put anhydrous ammonia on our fields. Now, we only side dress the fields that get hog manure on. We have a lot of pig barns around here. And in fact, our county is like one of the top hog producing counties in the United States. But hog manure is very inconsistent in the nutrients that are applied throughout the field. So the fields get hog manure on, we come back and we side dress a little bit of anhydrous ammonia just to make sure the crops are getting the nutrients they need. So we're sharing this with the other side of the family yet. You know, we don't do a ton of acres every year, so they have it for a few days, we have it for a few days, and everything gets done. And behind this is I believe it's a 30-foot B&H single shank cultivator. We haven't actually used this one yet, but we bought it and we keep it in here just in case there's a scenario in which we need the single shank cultivator. I'm gonna be honest, cultivating is pretty new to me. You know, when my dad was little, he used to do it all the time. So I really don't know what the advantage or the place is of a single shank over a triple shank, but it's back here. If we need it, we got it. And then over here, we have 2 rotary hoes. I believe this one is a 40-foot John Deere. Is it a 400 or something? Yeah, 400, there it is. And then behind that, we have a 60-foot rotary hoe. So this thing also looks absolutely massive when it's unfolded. And We don't really use the rotary hose a whole lot. Now that we're doing organic, we do use it more than we used to. Sometimes there's scenarios in which it makes sense to try and go weed with a rotary hoe over a row crop cultivator. But the biggest thing that we've been using these for is sometimes if we get a hard rain after we plant, that rain can create a crust on top of the ground that it's hard for plants to shoot through. So sometimes before the plants emerge, if there's a crust on the ground, we use these rotary hoes, and we can break up that ground and make it so it's a lot easier for those little corn and soybean plants to emerge. The 60-foot one is ours, my dad, brother, and I's, and then the 40-foot one here is still, I don't know if it's my uncle's or my grandpa's or we still share it. I'm not quite for sure, but the 60-foot is ours. So I'm walking over to our other shed here that has the other highboy in it, but we're walking past. This is our skid steer, little John Deere 240. The bigger skid steer that you guys have seen in the videos in the past was the other side of the family, so they took that to one of their new places. But this is our skid steer. I did a video once on it where this thing just kind of stopped starting. We had to like lift up the payloader onto a trailer. Ended up just being the starter. It was a bad starter. And in front of that here we have the hitchstock snow blower that we put on the 8320 RT for the winter. Ah yes, here we are. This is my high cycle or high boy. I'm gonna pull it outside quick. If it starts. I don't know, it's pretty cold out. I'm kind of doubtful. This does not like cold. It did start. I nicknamed this thing Lil Smoky because it's pretty smoky. No mosquito lives within a 20-foot distance of this thing. Aha, but here we are. My highboy's pretty special because I believe it's a first-year model. It has a serial number of like 300. So I believe this is either a 1974 or 1975 model. It was originally an open platform sprayer that had a cab added onto it recently. Actually, this cab's fairly new. It's a pretty nice condition cab. But mine's set up very similarly. The rate controller goes right here. My John Deere monitor gets put right here. And then boom controls, throttle, gauges. I used to have a Outback S-Lite guidance system that I no longer use on it. But yeah, same thing, clutch, turn pump on and off, 4-speed on the floor, and brakes. I've made a ton of videos on this sprayer as well. We've done a lot of upgrades to this one. It originally had a stainless steel tank, which is fine, except for the fact that stainless steel tanks do not have sumps on these sprayers. So I found, we bought a tank somewhere on auction, a plastic one, and then I found the last saddle in the United States for that tank. So we modified the sprayer, put the poly tank on it, the saddle, and then I put the rate controller on it. It originally just had a pressure gauge and valves in the cab, but I went ahead and I rigged all this up. So here's a flow meter, rate controller, ball valve, so it's a 2-section, so 30 foot and 30 foot. And you know what? These things are terrifying to drive, but they're a heck of a lot of fun and they're cheap. So we're not spraying fungicide with a $500,000 Haggy hoping to pay off a loan. We're spraying fungicide with 2 $7,000 sprayers, and any money that we make from it we get to keep instead of paying off loans. So yeah, I really like these things just because they're so unique and different, and they have zero of the safety standards that you have in modern equipment. And here, the newest tractor to our fleet is my dad's new little 3039R. A neighbor had this. He's had it for a couple years and he decided to sell it. And so I have a little Ford 1720, which is actually right over here. And my grandpa gave me this tractor when I was pretty young. I want to say like 6th grade, maybe, somewhere in there. It's kind of dirty right now, but this is my little Ford 1720. And my dad has been using this as his yard tractor for the past about 5 years. And he realized that I'm probably gonna move out and take it with me fairly soon. So he went and bought himself that little 3039R. And this is also my 4-row 7,000 planter. My dad and I restored this. Gosh, I was pretty young again. Pre-junior high, I believe. And like I said, it's kind of dirty right now, but I love this thing. This is kind of my therapy. When I'm sick and tired of everyone and everything, I just go and plant holes or fix things with my little 4-row and my Ford, and I'm just happy as can be. We got a couple gators. Nothing special about them. They're all 825s. What else? Oh, we got some stuff across the road yet. Well, I thought it was in here, but maybe it's not. Is it behind it? No. Interesting. Well, we have a John Deere 4230 somewhere. This is my uncle's 4440. This is not ours. But somewhere we have a 4230. I thought it was in here, but it's not. But I don't know, it's just a little grain vac that we use for like unplugging the leg and stuff. This is our ripper. It's Case IH 875. How many shank is it? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. 9 shank ripper. And back here a little bit further, we have a little sunflower disc that we use every once in a while. And then we have a John Deere 2100 inline ripper. The 8410T does get used on the inline ripper during the fall. So that's the 8410T's other use. But the 4230 that I was talking about that I can't find right now, that's just used for odds and ends. We have a little 8-row rotary hoe we sometimes use with it. We use it on the grain back. We have a little drill that we sometimes replant soybeans with, and we pick rocks with it. Just a handy little tractor to have around the farm. And then back here in the back corner of our property, we have our other organic row crop cultivator. This is a 60-footer. It's a single shank, and it's a B&H. So it's a weird folding bar. It's like a flat folding, so it actually like folds 3 times. We bought this for the bar. We don't really need another single shank cultivator, but if we do decide to expand our organic in the future, we would really like to build another 856 triple shank cultivator. And these 60-foot bars are hard to come by, so we just wanted another bar. And this happened to come up for sale pretty local to us, so we decided to pick it up. And so far we've brought it home and set it here and haven't done anything with it. And of course, what would a good farm be without a farm truck or two? This is our 09 Chevy 1-ton gasser. We have converted it to our tool truck, so now we have this nice big bomb box toolbox. It's actually a little too big, it's absolutely massive. And here's our air compressor. Nothing special, but a little gas air compressor. Get in the field if you need air. We use air tools a lot. That's super nice to have. And then beside it is our 08 Dodge 3/4 ton diesel, and it is pulling our Thunder Creek fuel trailer. Now, for the most part, that is our main equipment line. There's a couple other places that I really don't want to drive to today that have some other things like our corn and soybean head. So we're going to be using the same 640FD and the same 612C headers that we've been using in the past. I believe they bought new headers. And like our chisel plow is over at the other place. Our towel plow is over at the other place. But for the most part, this is the main line equipment. And if you guys want to follow along on anything, whether it's using this new sprayer for the first time, or if you want to follow along on the CTIS trials that we're going to be doing with the planter, or you're just kind of curious to see how my family gets along this year and how we're able to interact, make sure you guys hit that subscribe button and follow along. We have some pretty cool stuff coming. So thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.